From now on, we will use Visual Studio to write and compile our code. So let's start it. Create a new project and then choose Empty Project for C++. There are no dedicated project templates for C projects, but we can just use the C++ version. For the location, I will choose the programming folder that I created earlier. And for the name, I will use variables. Let's create the main.c file in the source files folder. As you can see, Visual Studio looks just like a simple text editor, but it has a lot of features to help us write our code that we will discover later. Let's recreate the Hello World program that we wrote last time. You can already see that Visual Studio helps us with things like finding the right include file and highlighting parts of the code in specific colors. Compiling and linking is also called building in programming. So to build our project, we can go to Build and Build Solution. Or we can simply press this button to build and start the program. Until we learn more about functions, we will only work within the main function. You can recognize the start and the end of a function by the curly braces. What we will learn about today are variables. You can think of a variable as a box with a name that can hold a value inside. This value can be replaced, but the box can hold only one value at a time. The box can only hold a certain type of value, in this case a whole number, or integer, which we call int in C. So a variable is made up of three things: a name, a type, and the value it holds. To create a variable in C, we first need the type and then the name. We can also set the value with an equal sign. Let's create this variable in our code. The variable age now exists within the main function. We can print integers and other variable types with printf. To print an integer, we have to put a percentage sign plus I into the text. The printf function now needs an integer as a second input. We will use the variable that we just created. Printf will replace the percentage I with the integer we gave it as the second input. So if we build and start the program now, it should print the number 23. What I want you to do now is print your name and age into the console. Text inside double quotation marks is called string in programming. In C it is also often called C-string. Let's create and print a few more variables of different types. A float is a type that can hold a floating point number, for example 2.54. We can use %f to print a floating point number with printf. Char is a type that can hold a single character. You have to use single quotation marks to set the value of a char. Use %c to print it with printf. If we start the program now, we can see that it works, but everything is printed directly after each other. We want every print to be on a new line. To do this, we have to add something called an escape character to the end of the string. There are a few different escape characters for C strings, but we want the escape character to create a new line. What we have to add to the end of the string is \n. Escape characters are used for characters that are impossible to represent directly or characters that would make problems otherwise. This is it for this video. Feel free to experiment more with variables and printing them. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.